it's Nicole, and I thought I'd do a real-time video for a couple reasons. It's been a while since I've done one, and I have a few updates. And second of all, it's quiet. Can you hear it? That's right, you can't hear anything because nobody's here. Everybody's out doing their things, so I thought I would do a real-time video and let you know why I haven't been on Facebook. I've been uploading my videos once a day for the entire month of July, but I haven't been on social media, hardly any. Not responding to the comments and stuff. I was being really good. I was responding every day, and then sometime last week, middle of July, almost the middle of July, about 10 days ago, I guess, I started getting a pain in my lower right side. But anyway, I'll start talking about this and then I'll come back to my story. So this is a kit that I had put together about a year ago, and I had this from when we had gone to New Hampshire to climb Mount Washington. And it says, "Hikers, you're in bear country." Okay. And I can tell you, we were in a campground that every 15, 20 minutes, we could hear the tripwires for the bears. So when we were, it says, you know, what to do when you're on a trail. And if you see a bear, which I didn't, but my husband went hiking early one morning by himself while we were still sleeping, and he saw a bear. So I just think this picture is so funny. Like, it's like, yeah, we're tough. So that's Josh, my son, my daughter, and her fiance. So I just thought I could use that. And then you have to look at this. One of the embellishments, one free bear hug. Really? That's pretty cool. And some of the other stuff that I see that was really appropriate. Be daring. This is great. So anyway, so I just thought I'd play with that while I tell you what's been going on. I did take some roller stamps out, and I'm going to stamp around my layout. And then I went into my stash, and probably by the time this is up, I'll have a few videos up, but where I show where my desk is sitting, to the left, I have this container where I have a bunch of pattern papers. And I went in there and just grabbed some stuff that would go with this layout, like color-wise. This was a scrap. I don't know why it was in there, but I'll try to use some of that too, because I only had the two. I know I'll use this for a background. This I'm going to cut up, so I'm not going to use it for a background. I just want those white flowers. So I only had this, so then I decided to get some of this so I could use it as a back, you know, layering. So I could cut these for journaling, but I did grab this that I can also use for journaling. So these are all older pattern papers, and this is actually a die cuts with a view package. So I'm trying to use, you know, not just the new up and coming pattern papers, but older stuff. This is a My Mind's Eye from 2014. This is Simple Stories from 2015. This doesn't have a branding strip. This is Chamel. That must be fairly new. See if I can see the date. 2014. And My Mind's Eye Now and Then. This is 2014. So fairly, you know, 2 to 3 years old papers. And that's really old. The die cuts with the view. So I'm going to start making some layers or some photo mats for my photo, and then we'll go from there. So anyway, yes, I was saying that I started getting lower abdominal pain, like really low, like almost touching my leg. Didn't think too much of it. And then this weekend, it started getting really bad to the point that my husband kept saying, oh, we should go to the emergency. We should go to the emergency. And I was like, no, I got an appointment on Tuesday. I had an appointment to see my regular doctor anyway today. So I was like, no, you know, if it gets really bad, then I'll go. So I went to see my doctor today. And I figured it was one of 4 things. You know, you self-diagnose. I thought maybe it was a cyst or a hernia or a pulled muscle, or worse, like, which I didn't think because it was too low, appendicitis. So I was right. He figures it's a hernia and I'm going to need surgery. And he was like, oh, usually women, it's more common in men to get hernias. I was like, yeah. Anyway, so when he said, it sure feels like a hernia, he's like, congratulations, you're, you know, one of the few women that get hernias. So he figures it might need surgery, so he's referring me to a surgeon, which he said if it gets really bad, like pain-wise, because right now it's more like a constant pain, like a burning. I can't stand for very long, and I can't sit for very long, either or. So I might have to do this in a few shots there. But he said if it gets really bad, because there's different kinds, right? If it gets really bad, to go to the emergency right away, because it could be like an emergency surgery. So I gotta keep an eye that if it gets too crazy, the pain, I have to go right to the ER. So yeah, so that's why I can't be, you know, sitting and being at my computer and stuff. I've been laying down and reading a bunch. I've read like 4 books, because that's when I feel less pain, is when I'm laying down. But I've been laying down for like, forever. So I thought I'd get up, and even if I can only do spurts of 15 minutes, try to get a page done. There you go. So in the meantime too, my second daughter moved back from where she lived. So she's living back in Moncton. She got a full-time job here, which she's quite excited. She just started, well, she started 2 weeks ago, but she did her training where she lived, because they had a store there. So they trained her there. And now she's the manager here, so. Okay. I could use a couple of these different ones, I guess, and flip them back and forth. That I won't do in the middle, because I want to use the whole thing. I'm not going to use this as a background. I'm going to use that up. It's not the same as a cardstock. A cardstock, I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm going to use it as a background, like a big mat for the whole thing, but not this. I want to be able to use it on as many layouts as possible. So I'll cut it this way, and then I'll use this too, this side, as maybe the journaling. Let's cut that down. Oh yeah, I want this too. I want to be able to, I don't know if I want to cut down the sheet. or if I want to keep it in its, in this, might, I'm not gonna mat it. Okay. Let's cut a piece off of this. I'm not measuring, just cutting. I might not even, I might, because I think I'd like to stamp on the background. So I might mat this instead. I think that's what I'll do. And this is the perfect size. Awesome. So today's July 18th. So it's been absolutely gorgeous outside, but I haven't been doing anything. We were gonna possibly go climb Mount Carlton this week, because we didn't get to do it the weekend that we wanted to do it because it was cold and wet, but now I can't. There's no way I can. I have a hard time walking to the kitchen. So I think what I might do, before I do that, I might, I don't know, do some kind of treatment to the background. And then with these, I want to say stuff like "say what" and that kind of stuff. Wait, say, and then ouch. We'll leave what, a space? Yeah, we'll go this way. So I'll put "say what" H. I might not do the whole video real time too. W-A-T. And then these. Oh, I think I might. Is there a question mark on this? No. I was going to say if there's a question mark and exclamation, I could like, like say what? So then what I'm going to do is once I'm ready to stamp, I'm going to stamp it on somewhere else. So I'm going to do "say what" with this. And then this one, I'll figure out something else. So I think that's what I'll do. I'll put you on fast forward now, just because I think I'm going to need a break already. And then when I come back, I'll just record. Okay, so I decided to do the rest in not real-time video because it was kind of hard to get around, and I went to rest for a bit, and then I came back and I knew exactly what I want to do. I want to do like a whitewash to the back, and then it would give me sort of a platform to do all that stamping that I wanted to do. I showed you a few more stamp sets that I went and dug through my stash. You know, some of them from Studio Calico, Technique Tuesday, different companies. And then I went to get some white paint, some Liquitex paint, I believe. And then I'm just adding a bunch of water because I don't want it to be thick. I just want it to be like a white wash. And I'm just, it's a lot of it is going to get absorbed into the pattern paper. I didn't even put some gesso first because I wanted the pattern paper to absorb it so that it would be not as bright. It would be more muted, more like a wash, and that's what I wanted. And then I'm going to go through the stamp sets that I chose to use, you know, for this page. And I grabbed a few stamp sets or ink pads. a couple from Hero Arts, a couple or one or two from Close to My Heart, and none of them are black. One of them is charcoal, and the other one is a dark gray, and then the other one is, I believe it's called Juniper, and it's from Close to My Heart, and it's my favorite color of Close to My Heart, hands down. And if I would have been smart, I would have looked for the cardstock in Juniper because I'm going to mount this whole thing on some cardstock, and instead I'm going to go into my stash and find some cardstock. Okay, so I just went into my stash cardstock and just from a little Close to My Heart would have been so that I could put the stamp set on, so that it'd be like a stamping block, so I can stamp around. And I decided to cut down that little warning that they gave us. On one side it says hikers, and on the other side it says campers, and I believe I have more than one of those. So we were hiking in this photo, so I used the hiker's side, and then when I use the other side, the other one on the other side, I'll use the campers one for when we were camping. So I decided that I want to ink the edges with that Juniper ink from Close to My Heart. So I'm going to ink everything with that ink. And like I said, I love that ink. I don't know why I hadn't used it lately. Well, I think I know why. It's because where it was stored before, it wasn't as easily accessible. But now, as I'm getting, a lot more stuff organized in my craft room, things are popping up again, and I'm seeing them, and also they're coming to the forefront of my mind, and I'm remembering to use some stuff that I haven't used forever. Now, if you're new to my channel, in the last 3 days, I uploaded 3 parts of a tour of my scrapbook room, and it's part 1, part 2, part 3. And it just kind of shows how I organized everything. And on that note, I just want to say that it's an ever-changing thing. I am not done unpacking yet. I still have some boxes that I'm unpacking, and I'm only unpacking a box a day, so it's going to take me a while. But I'm okay with that, because a lot of my stuff is now put away. So what's left, one box a day is going to be plenty. I'm okay with just putting one box away. But also that means that as I'm unpacking other stuff, I'm going to have to probably rearrange stuff in my room, which already, this has only been up for 3 days, or 3 days, that's it, it's all done. But I have to say, the filming was done like a week and a half ago. I've already changed up a few things. Like I showed in one of the videos, I fixed my embellishments. I took them all out, and then I divided them by company, and then now in the drawers, at least I know if I'm looking for Dear Lizzie, I know exactly where to go. It's going to be somewhere in that drawer. And I've also started to put some pages away, which I'm going to have a video probably tomorrow, just to kind of give you a little peek at how I'm going about putting those literally hundreds of pages away. So that's the next thing I'm working on. I don't know if I'll do all the pages all at once. I grabbed about 50 of them, and I'm just about done. I think I probably have like 15 left to journal on, and to put the date on, because I'm make sure they're all finished, and then I'm putting them into albums, and then they'll be in the albums for good. So it's feeling good to get that done, but I need to get some more layouts done too. So I'm going to only do a little bit, maybe a week, and get it done that way. Like I said, I went into my stash and got some cardstock that I liked how it looked with this layout. I mounted the photo, as you saw. The pattern papers that I had used before, it wasn't big enough because I found I wanted some cardstock to be in behind the photo. It wasn't standing out enough. So I went and matted the photo and used one of the pattern papers again. I cut down that die cut, or not die cut, but that little warning that they gave us about the bears in the area, just to be aware and what to do in case you encounter a bear. And then I took my stamp sets and took 3 or 4 different kinds of inks, and I stamped it in 3 different spots. And that's where I'm going to concentrate on starting my embellishment clusters. And that's when I noticed that it would be nice if I would have some of that whitewash at the bottom left where I plan on doing an embellishment cluster. So instead of taking out the paint again, I just use one of my daubers in the white from Hero Arts, and then I'm just adding some water to it, and then I was like, it's not concentrated enough. So then I just take my paper is so wet, it has so much water on it, that then I just decide to put the dauber directly on and kind of mix it around with the water. Now I'm drying it with my Tim Holtz tool, and then I'm going to use the same stamp sets and the same inks, and I'm going to stamp around that little embellishment cluster using the same stamp set. So one of them, those are big Provocraft roller stamps, and instead of dates it has letters so that you can spell out words. So the first one, it says say what, and then the other one, which I think it's blue, I'll take out in a little bit. I spelled out no fear, which really, that wasn't the truth, because the whole time that we were there, it was always in the back of my mind. Like the year that we went, not that year, because we were a bigger group, you know, there was 5 of us. So, you know, as you're coming up the trail, there's a little bit more noise, so it's not as concerning. But the year that it was just me, Dave, and Josh, I wouldn't let Josh go up ahead on his own, because I was like, no, like, you need to be with us. So he was allowed to go until, because he was so much faster than us, but he was allowed to go until I couldn't see him, and then he would stop and then wait for us. I went into my stash again and grabbed these little stamp sets, and it had little stars, and in some of the embellishments I had little stickers that were stars, and I'm going to end up using them. And that's what made me think of looking for some stars, was those little stickers. And when I go to look for them, one of them is going to be gone and I cannot find it while I am putting this page together, but I do end up finding it once I cleaned up and I found the star. And then I kind of figured that's when I would find it, is when I was cleaning up, and then I put the star in the 3rd cluster. And just to let you know, for this page there won't be any close-ups of the layout, because I was laid up for 5 days almost. So thankfully the videos for my scrap room tour and all that was all done ahead of time. So that was all I had to do, was edit. So that was done. But this layout, I just, did it earlier this week. So I didn't have a chance to, take the pictures and all. But at least I got the video up, and it's going to be up on YouTube today. And today is actually the day that it's going to go up. It's July 22nd. And after I'm done this, I gotta go upstairs and spend a little bit of time and try to get a layout or two done, so I have some stuff to upload for the rest of the week. So now that I, did that cluster at the bottom, I added some stamp sets in that cluster because I wanted it to be the same as the other clusters. I wanted that messiness with it, and I'm going to start working on that cluster. I just used all the embellishments that I had put with this page kit, and it worked out perfectly. Like I said, one of them said something about a bear hug. I mean, how perfect was that? And then, that other one says be daring, which in the end, I don't end up using that. I end up using one of the stickers, and I'm going to end up cutting it in 3, and I'm going to use that as sort of the start off for my journaling. I'm adding 3M foam to all the embellishments that I want, or the die cuts that I want to pop. I put some behind the one about the bear hug. I'm going to put a little bit behind the bird, and a little bit behind the glasses. And this is where I'm looking for that 3rd star, and I'm like, I don't have a clue where that thing went. So I just decided to just keep going, and that it would eventually show up. You're going to see me looking for it off and on. But I only found it, literally I had everything put away, and it was stuck to my dish where I can mix paint. So, and that was fine. I just went and got my layout again and added the star to the 3rd cluster. There was a couple of stickers that were that nice teal, and I'm going to put it in the 2 clusters, and then the 3rd one I'm going to put it's kind of vanilla with teal words, and I'm going to kind of, I don't know if I want to use that or not. I'm moving it around, and then that one there, I love it, but it's so big, which I'm going to end up using that in a little bit. So I'm going to end up going to my stash and looking for some word stickers too. So at this point I see, okay, if I cut it down, maybe I can use it, but I don't like the way it looks there. So then I look on my journaling block and see, because it says something like this is how the story goes, or something like that. And so I figured it's a perfect prompt for a journaling. And so I'm going to put it to the left side of my journaling block, and then it'll start off my journaling. This is the point where I go into my stash, and I'm looking for some word stickers to see if I could use some little word stickers. And if you saw my video showing my room, I have a drawer that's just for word stickers. So whenever I think, oh, I wish I had another word sticker, I don't have to go through a whole bunch of stuff. I just open that drawer, and I have, a drawer that is dedicated to stickers, word stickers only. Now I know I want to add some enamel dots, so I'm going through my little stash here, and those are the ones that I'm trying to get through before I use the other ones that I have stored somewhere else. I go to this one first. I'm trying to use them all up before I go to my other stash, and this is my other stash, and some of them in here are also used up, but like I said, there was just so many of them. I was just like, okay, just dedicate some to a container and use those, and then if you can't find the color that you want, then go into that little drawer and try to get those used up. So I found a nice light blue color, that like an aqua, so it went really well with the colors. And now I'm gonna finish putting the embellishments, and you're gonna see I put it down and then I scoot it over and see if it looked better I went to the end of the journaling block, and I didn't like that. I liked it where it was right underneath that the Hikers Beware card. So I'm just going to pick up everything, and then the only thing left is to add some splatters. So while I'm doing that, the question for you today is, when you, at the end of the day, when you're relaxing, or for me, when I go to bed, I read for a bit, and then I find that I put videos in my ears and that's how I fall asleep. I fall asleep listening to people talking about scrapbooking or booktube. I have some playlists that I've made myself of just people talking about books, and I listen to that. Or I have video list about just people talking about scrapbooking, and I listen to that, and that's how I fall asleep every night. Is I either listen to people talking about books or people talking about scrapbooking, and I find that totally relaxes me. So is that something that you guys do also, or am I like a complete weirdo? But I'm just wondering if I'm the only one that does that. I love listening to people talking about books, and just summary of books, and I love listening to people talking about scrapbooking. Okay, so this page is almost done. So if you're new to my channel, this month, the month of July, I'm uploading a video a day every single day. And so there's been 22 videos that have been uploaded up to now. And don't forget to hit subscribe. And if you're enjoying these videos, if you wouldn't mind, give me a thumbs up. And we will chat to you tomorrow. So I want to thank you so much for watching. Bye.